Hello guys, and welcome to I Just Watched episode 2. In this episode we are going to be talking about Uncanny Annie, but before we get into it, I am so sorry I have not posted anything on my channel in a long time. Lots of things have happened over the course of the last 2 months, and I have come to the conclusion that it's really hard to do a Baywatch podcast. The episodes are really terrible and hard to watch at times. I really would like to do maybe like a Murder, She Wrote podcast or a Touched by an Angel or even a Little House on the Prairie, because those shows I plan on getting on the complete series of all 3 of those on DVD, hopefully soon around Christmas time. And I know that I will watch every single episode of those 3 shows. And I've been watching a lot of other shows, like I just started watching One Tree Hill, and I just finished season 1, and I thought of doing a podcast on that, but I'm sure there's probably all kinds of One Tree Hill podcasts out there. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to continue Baywatch, but I kind of like the concept of I Just Watched, which is me, doing something that I watched and giving my opinion on it, because either it excited me or it annoyed me. In this case, Uncanny Annie annoyed me. Uncanny Annie, so let's dive into this, okay? Spoilers throughout this video if you have not seen Uncanny Annie, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it is a Into the Dark Hulu television series episode for Halloween. They've done this since 2018, and I didn't really know about it until this year. I mean, I'm sure there were trailers and stuff last year for all of it, but I just don't remember it. But I watched the trailer for Uncanny Annie and thought, oh, this looks interesting, because basically it introduces a concept that it's like Jumanji meets horror. To survive the game and everything, you have to play it until the end and everything will go back to normal. Or at least that's what it tries to do and ultimately fails to do. All of these mini movies, which one could say it's like a mini series because it's like many movies as each episode goes along. And they have one episode for every holiday, starting with Halloween. And then they have one for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and Valentine's Day and such and such. And so far I've only seen 2 of them, because only 2 of them seemed interesting, but then wasn't. Anyway, so Uncanny Annie is produced by Blumhouse, hopefully, I don't know how to pronounce that. The same people that brought you The Purge, and one of the coolest 2 movies, I think, is Happy Death Day 1 and 2. They present, like I said, an interesting concept, because that would be a really cool movie. Instead of it, being sort of like Jumanji is, it would be like facing your darkest fears and revealing your most darkest secrets, and you have to keep playing despite whatever comes your way. But there are several plot holes in this particular thing. Like I said, it has a wonderful concept, but then the concept kind of tanks. Let's get into it. Okay, so we start off in stereotypical horror fashion by basically paying tribute to Stranger Things by having them playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons. And two of the guys that are playing Dungeons and Dragons aren't even in the rest, the rest of the movie. They're just there, the game ends, and they leave. So I don't really recognize anyone in this cast, except for one guy who dresses up like Santa Claus. Well, basically has a Santa hat and a shirt. Was also in the new Halloween movie last year. So he's like the only recognizable one, and he plays a douchebag in Halloween 2018 and also in this one too. I don't know their character names. They were not interesting enough for me to remember or care. But basically they have this friend, Kevin, I believe, who has died. And we don't know how. According to dialogue, he drowned in 3 inch of water. And we're not told much beyond that. They decide to get together to honor his memory by playing a board game because he loved playing board games. One of the girls goes downstairs to get board games and comes across the board game Uncanny Annie. And here's a plot hole that never gets resolved. Basically, they find this game. They have no idea where it came from. According to, because they're at a fraternity house, this game hasn't been there this whole entire time. They don't know where it's come from. And we as the viewer don't know where it's come from. We don't know how long this has been a game, the origins behind it. I mean, yes, of course, we don't know that about Jumanji either. But at least we know certain things about Jumanji. You know, if you play it to the end, everything gets reset and everything goes back to normal like it was before the game started and all of that. You can get trapped in the game, that sort of thing. This, we don't know. They just find the game and go, oh, this looks interesting. Look at the cover. Annie looks creepy and there's all these people on it. And let's play this. I mean, and we don't even know the rules, you know? Like, how do you beat the game? How do you win the game? It says you're supposed to spell out her name, and once you do, you've won the game. It seems easy enough, but it's not. So they start playing the game, and I think we have our main people are Wendy, Eve, Grace, Craig, Michael. Michael is the one that I mentioned who's the huge douchebag from Halloween. He's played by Dylan Arnold. Yeah, he was in the original, not the original, the new Halloween in 2018 as Cameron. He's the only recognizable one in the cast, and he plays a douchebag in Halloween, as I said, and in this movie too. We have also Peter, and I think that is it. That's all the characters. So they start playing the game, and basically Wendy gets the card to summon Uncanny Annie, which she has to go into a mirror and recite her name 3 times. Uncanny Annie, it's time to come out and play. And once they start playing the game, they seem to go into the upside down. I kid you not, that's what it looks like. It looks like the upside down. It really does. Because the house is like on a black shiny floor. And they have no idea where they are, and the first person that dies, like I said, spoilers throughout this video, is Craig. Because he goes out to see what's going on and gets killed, and honestly, I can't really explain to you what happens, because it's confusing to me. Like I said, they take something that has the potential to be a fantastic concept and they basically ruin it. Like, for instance, I believe one of the girls, I believe it's Ellie, suddenly starts having visions when they start playing this game, and she chooses not to tell the other players that she can see what's about to happen. And it's not explained. Has she always had this power? You know, is it just something she developed because they're playing the game? Is there more to it? But they don't go into great detail. It's just, hey, she has visions. And over the course of the game, it's revealed that their friend, Paul, who they have come to, basically, it's not Kevin, it's Paul, sorry, I just remembered, to play this game, died because him and Michael had a fight, and Michael shoved him and he hit his head on the car, which caused him to have a concussion, and he ended up drowning in a puddle. Yes, I kid you not. Michael has to reveal this in a secret, but refuses to reveal it or to acknowledge it was his fault. And so he gets banished to what looks again like Stranger Things upside down, and the ghost of Paul ends up killing him the way that he died, which made absolutely no sense to me. And even though the girl that has the visions keeps saying we have to keep playing, it'll go back to normal, spoiler alert, they all don't make it. And it literally makes no sense as to why. I mean, they keep saying if we keep playing the game, everything will go back to normal and everything will be fine, but it doesn't. And you can't help that watching it as a viewer wondering, what is the point of this? You know, what is the point of any of this? You know, getting together and playing this game. And what are the origins of Annie? I mean, the actress that plays Annie is creepy as like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. And it's just weird. It's like whenever anyone dies, they appear on the box. And it's like you have all these lost souls crying out for help. Beat the game or whatever. And it seems like, you know, they have a fantastic concept and they could just do something fantastic with it. And they don't. They veer off into typical horror fashion and do nothing with the concept that they basically introduced. There's no rhyme or reason to it, and what's worse is you're not rooting for any of the characters to live. So after watching this, I thought, well, this was absolutely terrible, and the reviews on IMDb is totally true. One person says on there, they were on the right track, but they totally screwed up. If Annie was so set on rules, then she would have lost. She broke the rules, and therefore she should have been punished. Totally hated the ending. Basically, yeah, there are rules, but the rules are not clear. Like, for instance, Annie says she would let everyone go. If Wendy kills the final girl, the other final girl, Eve, who has a hand in Paul's death. She knew something happened, but she didn't tell Wendy what happened. So, Uncanny Annie basically says to her, if you kill Eve, I will let everyone in this game go. And Wendy won't do it. So instead, she allegedly kills Annie. She stabs her box. And it seems like she won the game. Wendy won the game, but then she doesn't. It's really confusing. Like I said, I don't understand. They started on the right track and then they veered off of it, and it didn't make any sense. And it's so wrong on so many levels. So after watching this and thinking this is absolutely terrible, I decided, well, they all can't be bad. So I watched every trailer for every single one and came to the conclusion to watch the New Year's Eve one, New Year, New You, which is about a woman who is a YouTube sensation, and she ends up getting invited to sort of like a slumber party in a house where apparently a girl committed suicide, and her father is going to be moving out or selling the house or something to that effect. And basically it says for like the basic premise, a group of old friends gather for a girls' night on New Year's Eve. But as they begin to rehash old memories, many of the gripes they've been harboring manifest in murderous ways. Because we have Alexis, Danielle, Kayla, and Chloe, and Casey. Basically, Alexis has become, I'm so sorry, it's hard to keep track, a medium sensation. And Casey knows, and Chloe and Kayla know I am so sorry. It is Danielle who has become a media sensation, and Alexis, Kayla, and Chloe, my bad, sorry. Like I said, it's so hard to keep track of all the characters. Know that Danielle is a bully, and she's a phony. And that she inadvertently caused someone's suicide by being a bully. And Kayla is a lesbian, and apparently Danielle has made fun of her for that, bullied her for that. Chloe is slightly overweight, and Danielle has also bullied her for that. But everyone listens to her health tips, and she has 1 million views. And Alexis sets out to basically teach her a lesson. And it turns into, again, it veers off and it starts off with sorry, that's my chair. It starts off with a fantastic, thing, confronting the bully, making her admit to what she's done is wrong, to turning into, you don't even know which character you're supposed to be rooting for, You're not rooting for Danielle because Danielle basically admits that she did inadvertently cause the other girl's death, and that she's not going to admit it because she will lose her followers. And she ends up manipulating Chloe into believing her psychobabble bullshit. And Danielle and Chloe start going off and trying to kill the other two, and it just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, I don't know, and I really don't know, I don't know why. And it's I have come to the conclusion that Into the Dark is not my cup of tea. It's trying to be a horror anthology series, which props to it, but it's their concepts are not all that fun. They start off fun, and they turn out bad. But I'm not going to be the kind of reviewer that basically says to you, oh my god, don't watch this. Because for the simple fact is that if you're like me, and I know a lot of people are like this, where when someone says, oh, this is so terrible, don't watch it, you want to watch it to basically see for yourself if it is terrible. So I implore you, if you like horror, you will like some aspects of these two episodes, and I just saw the trailer for the new one that's coming on, which is called Pilgrim, where a bunch of people invite pilgrims, real pilgrims, to come for their Thanksgiving dinner, which is really weird. And they turn into murderous pilgrims or something. It looks really weird, and I will not be watching that one. But again, interesting concept, and then they basically ruin it by terrible twists and turns that don't make any sense. But I'm not going to tell you not to watch it. I mean, if this is interesting to you, by all means, check it out. It's on Hulu. All episodes are on Hulu. I subscribe to Hulu, and Hulu is a great streaming service. But honestly, it wasn't my cup of tea. I just didn't like it. I wanted it to be better than it was. Both of them, both Uncanny Annie and New Year, New You. And unfortunately, they weren't. And I don't want to check out the other ones due to that fact, too. I'm hoping they get better. Maybe they'll have a really good Christmas one, I'm hoping. But anyway, this has been Just Watched, Uncanny Annie, and New Year, New You. Hope you enjoyed, and happy Halloween. And tell me in the comments below if you've seen any of these Into the Dark episodes, and which ones are your favorites and which ones are not your favorites. And if you do watch it because of this review, please tell me what you thought. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye. Have a great day.